So I decided to film this video like very impromptu. I have been meaning for like the last 2 weeks to film a life update, and I thought it'd be kind of fun if I did it in like a get ready with me style, except every time I've got ready in the last 2 weeks I've just been so like late or stressed that I was like, I'm not gonna add filming to the mix. So today is like the first day where I'm like, oh, I've got time to get ready. I feel like, you know, I can actually film alongside this. So I've done the concealer, and during me doing the concealer was sort of my realisation process that I probably should film. So I'm getting ready to go for a drink with my housemates, and I thought whilst I was getting ready I would talk to you guys about what the hell is going on with me. So there's so much to cover I don't even actually know where to begin. I think the most logical place is probably university. So you guys probably seen from my last video or last few videos, I don't know how many ago it's going to be when this comes out, that I prolonged my dissertation. So I'm still technically studying, but that's due in March, but obviously I'm 3/4 done with the dissertation. So in my head I'm not studying, but that's probably going to be detrimental because I am still studying, I'm just not actively doing it every day. So I'm sort of like dipping in and out of the dissertation. Like, I wanted to do it once a week, but it's becoming about 2 hours once a fortnight. But as I said, there's not really much left to do on that, so that's not really like a major problem. So on the university front, basically we're done, and I feel very cleansed. So I need to like see into my mirror. I feel very cleansed on that fact because it was awful. I really did not enjoy, I don't know, I didn't enjoy the workload that I had on my masters, but I really enjoyed my subject, which is a big change from the undergrad because I didn't enjoy anything on undergrad. So yeah, I did enjoy what I was studying, but it was just at times a lot of work, which was mildly self-induced by how I picked my modules. But you know, even towards the end of the academic year when it dropped off a little bit, I don't know, I thought I would have lost interest, but I think it's because I was so acutely aware that like after the masters I will be going into the workplace or like have to do something that's not going to be studying. And preparing for that something kind of took up my bandwidth. So even though I was studying, you know, all this year and throughout the summer and this, that and the other, I've been mainly focusing on like my career, what I want to do, getting a job, basically figuring out how to pay rent. And when you're kind of thinking about the long-term goals that you have and what you want to do as a career, I don't know, doing masters just seems a bit like not interesting anymore, if that makes any sense, or it just seems a bit like it's something in the way. But I feel like I'm saying that I didn't have a good time. I did. I really liked my masters. I love what I'm studying, and I'm actually grateful that I have the opportunity to delay my dis so then I can sort of like still keep my foot in the water of my subject for another 6 months, which is really nice actually, because it's kind of quite sad to think that like after March I will never be studying law ever again. And I've done it for like, well, 4 years at university. I did A-levels before that and then interest before that. Like I've had an interest in law since I was like 15, so it's been like 7 years of my life it's consumed, and then it's going to be gone. Strange, right? And it's funny I say that because when I realised that fact like a few weeks ago, I had a little like moment of why don't we do the SQE, or do we want to do a PhD? PhD was ruled out very, very quickly, naturally. But then I thought about qualifying as a lawyer and then going into the army that way. But then when I kind of realised you're gonna have to work as a paralegal or something for 2 years, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. So as I said, now I'm done. The majority of my time is army. Like, it just is what it is. So I'm going through all of my training at the moment and will be done very, very soon. And then it's trade training, which will be in 2022. So that's exciting. And then I'm also, drumroll, that was a pathetic drumroll. I have always said on this channel that I am going to go full-time in the army, which is still happening, but the way that I'm going to go full-time has changed. Oh, there's so much to unpack, I don't know where to begin. I wanted to go in as a CMT, which is the role that I'm doing in the reserves. That was my original plan, and then after a few years, either go back to medical school, qualify as a doctor and go in as an officer, or just go in as an officer. That was my plan. However, that plan kind of fell apart very quickly when I was speaking to the National Recruiting Centre. Anybody that's joined the army will know the joys of speaking to the National Recruiting Centre. And they basically said that for CMTs, they're not recruiting actively to put them in basic training. for the next 3 years because they've already got their quota number, meaning if I wanted to be a CMT, I'd have to wait until 2024, which sort of defeats the object of wanting to do a role for a few years to then go to Sandhurst. So I was just like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, wait 3 years, be in the reserves, then do that role for a few years, and then go to Sandhurst, by which time I would be too old. Or what do I do? And to be honest, I toyed around a while whether I wanted to do like a different role as a soldier, and there just wasn't really anything that grabbed my fancy. So I've decided to just go straight to Sandhurst. That's my plan. So over the next probably, I would imagine it will take about a year to do briefing and main board and then go, if I'm successful the first time, which hopefully it'll be a when I'm successful, not if. So yeah, I would imagine the journey to Sandhurst will take me over the next year, and then I'll go and I'll be full time, which is really exciting actually, and I'm excited to sort of share it with you and share the prep with you guys on the mental side and doing all the aptitude tests and the math skills and interviews and how I'm going to prepare for that, the practical skills that you need to know, and then also the fitness. So I'm probably not going to make a series, but I probably will make a few videos over the next year as I'm going through the process on how I'm preparing and how I'm finding it and things like that. So yeah, exciting times. Planning to go to Sandhurst now, but because obviously that's going to take a year, my plan is to stay in the reserves for another year, and I've actually been lucky enough to be offered a job in the reserves. So for the next year, I'm technically going to be like full-time army, because that's what I'm going to be doing as my job. Sort of get the experience of it. Obviously it's different to what Sandhurst will be like and being an officer, but getting the experience of what it will feel like to be in the army every day and to feel like it's more full-time post basic training and stuff, because the only real experience I've had so far of what it would feel like to be in the army every day is when I've gone on my training, and obviously that's during basic. It's very different to what you would do after you've done your training and when you're at company and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm basically really excited to have the opportunity to basically be sort of a full-time reservist. I also think it's going to be a lot easier for me as well to prepare to go full-time and be a regular when your headspace is full-time army anyway. The thing that I found difficult over the last like few years, especially like getting into the army and then being in the army, is when you're a reservist, your brain space is like, you know, portioned up into like, I have my civvy life, and for me it was like I have my masters, I have the phys that I want to do, I have a compartment in my brain for like family and all of that, and then another one for like being in the army. So you kind of can't give your full attention to it, and I'm the type of person that likes to commit to something and then give it absolutely 110% of my waking hours and brain capacity. And when you can't do that, it's sort of like, it's difficult to sometimes be motivated when you've got to split your brain up and be 100% dedicated in your civvy job and your army job. Like, it's a lot to sort of dish your energy out in both areas all the time. For reservists, one always takes a little bit of a hit. So for me, I'm glad that like now my civvy job, if you will, and my army world are combining, so I can just full steam ahead in one direction and like really put everything into that, and hopefully that will stand me in good stead for going to Sandhurst. Right, I'm gonna have to concentrate to do my eyeliner. It's tricky at the best of times, and me talking on camera and being a foot away from my mirror, not good. Like, this is the trouble. I say it in every makeup video that I've done, and I say every makeup video, there's been about 3. Is one of my eyes is close up vision and one's really far away, so I can never see what I'm doing, in other words. Right, let me do my mascara and I'll join back with you, because this requires more concentration. Okay, so I'm ready now, and I think this is mostly what I wanted to cover on the update. It's really just to give you guys a bit of context of what's going to happen over the next year and the exciting things that are ahead. So I can't wait to share it all with you, and I will see you guys in another video. I will see you guys soon. Bye.